A couple of closing comments just before we finish up for this session, and I'll pass you over to Declan McKibben. As we have seen through the sort of conversations that we've had through these case studies and earlier this morning, certainly the space that we're working in, the technology landscape, is exciting. It's buzzing and with innovation, and it's great to be a part of. But it's moving at pace, and I'll come back to that. There's no doubt about it that AI is an impact multiplier in the technology progress that's happening around us. Everything from around that we see, touch, feel in terms of from culture to consumer products is literally a product of intelligence. But I suppose the key word there is pace. The pace of the last 18 to 24 months is unprecedented in terms of the last sort of 5 to 10 years. And yet the pace is only beginning to accelerate. And I think that sort of speaks to some of the engagement we're having with industry collaboration. So over the last 10 years at ADAPT, we've built out a very busy industry collaboration program. As you see, we work with startups and SMEs through a lot of big global companies with probably more than sort of 100 collaborations over the last number of years. And there's been certainly a mind shift in terms of reacting to this sort of pace. And one of those is in particular is that companies recognize that it needs a collective mind of diverse thinking, different voices around the table. And I think that's been referred to again through the conversation. It used to be that AI was seen as a multi-disciplinary sort of I suppose, deep dive into into research and technology. That has shifted. We are working sort of with working groups, AI working groups within these organizations that have collective voices from right across the organization. It is no longer a one function role. It needs that ecosystem to be able to understand the power of that technology. And we're also beginning to see that strengthening of those sort of partnerships with the ADAPT Centre as well, because again, it is feeding into that ecosystem and building up that sort of collective sort of ideas. There's no doubt about it, but as someone said before, people with different backgrounds and experiences see the same problem in different ways and coming up with different solutions. And really that is the key to this sort of ecosystem. So more than ever, AI is an interdisciplinary field of research, from science and engineering through to where we're hosted today, the School of Business, which are doing great work around the adaptive technologies and digital technologies, right through to law and ethics. And so it is that interdisciplinary sort of skill set that really is the core value of ADAPT, and that we bring to the table when we work with an organization. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you found that interesting. And with that, I'll pass you over to Declan McKibben, who is, in case you missed it earlier, the Executive Director of ADAPT.
Thank you, Edmund. Is that okay? Thanks for that. So I'm going to wrap up because I'm conscious that we have networking and lunch quite soon, so I'm not going to dwell too long on the salesy bit, but just, I guess, to reflect on the day that we have this morning. For me, it was really interesting just to see how broad the field is, not only in terms of the disciplines and the functions, but right across government and industry and academia, just how big and how complex this opportunity is for artificial intelligence and indeed other advanced technologies and its impact on economy and society. So I wanted to just kind of follow on from a slide I introduced earlier about how we organize our research in ADAPT. So at its heart, it is interdisciplinary. So, only about half of the research leaders within the ADAPT Centre come from computer science and engineering. The rest come from law, from neuroscience, from medicine, from the humanities, our colleagues in history, psychology, of course, as well. So it takes a village to really kind of drive the research that goes on in research centre like ADAPT. And also it's the engagement with industry, with civil society partners, with government, and also with our peers across other universities in Ireland and across the European Union through Horizon Europe collaborations. Just to kind of recap, we take an individual focus, an algorithmic focus, and an enterprise and social focus, and it's through those expertise and through the collaboration that we can really have impactful results for our partners that we collaborate with. The actual team here is vast. I mean, we have over 80 professors that are driving this research. This is just some of them here, clustered by our kind of data, AI, governance, ethics, and policy. Our Gen AI here in the middle, John at the top of it, leading it. And then over here, our colleagues who are in what we call digitally enhanced engagement, or the human AI collaboration space. So whether it's personalized and precision medicine, or personalized learning, recommender systems or dialogue systems. That's really where all of this expertise happens. And then when you're working, in order to work with ADAPT, we make it easy because we provide in the Design and Innovation Lab in ADAPT, you may have heard of D-Lab earlier, and also through the commercialization team that Edmund is a member of, and my other colleagues here, Kieran and Connor, we provide this bridge from the university into industry and vice versa. So academics like working and like engaging with industry. Why? Well, funding is the obvious answer, but really the important thing is real world scenarios and access to data. So data is gold. Actually, and it's always been about the data, I should say. It's not a new phenomenon, but working with industry gives the opportunity for very, very interesting and impactful collaborative research. So we try and provide this two-way bridge. In the commercialization team, we all come from industry, so we speak the language of industry and we understand the constraints and the preferences there. And equally, we've been living and walking among the academics, so we can kind of talk their language, almost like anthropologists from industry. And but it's not just that. So there's a communication to be had where we try and align in terms of disciplines and objectives. But then within the design and innovation team, we've a very strong project management function, a professional group of project managers, postdoctoral researchers and research fellows. We have engineers and research engineers, full stack developers. We also have high performance computing infrastructure. So, NVIDIA is, I think, the most valuable company in the world now. We're lucky enough to have some NVIDIA GPUs and nodes in our data centers. Obviously not enough and never enough, but it's an important resource to enable research. And then finally, and often kind of gets forgotten, the intellectual property and the legal administration of these collaborations is an important service that we have within our design and innovation team. So then, we have these impacts with industry. There's some brands over there. They're examples of companies that we have active engagements with, but of course we're working with many other companies as well, some of whom you heard earlier. So Huawei, we finished a project a little while ago. We're already talking about new projects and engaging with pretty much companies across all sectors, platforms, fintech, you can see energy there, biotech and pharma. And so over on the right then are some of the brands that we're kind of actively engaged with, some in individual collaborative research projects and others in longer term joint labs or joint AI labs. And that's a phenomenon that we've really seen in the last couple of years, is an increased appetite from industry to engage in longer multi-project collaborative engagements, because in an organization like ADAPT, we have that expertise, impartial. We don't particularly have a dog in the game, so we can provide this impartial and genuinely expert advice and guidance as organizations try and work through their AI strategy. So just before we break for lunch, I want to say a huge thanks to Olivia, to Alex and Sam and Jenny and the team for producing the event today. I found it really engaging, so thank you for that. And a round of applause. To our keynote from MEP Dragas Tudorache, thank you so much for that. It was enlightening. And also to all of our speakers, John Kelleher from ADAPT, our director, and Professor Anya Belts in Dublin City University, and then everybody who was on the panel and those who contributed case studies and presentations. And finally, thank you all for attending and sticking with us for what hopefully was very informative and engaging, if not a big commitment of time. So I appreciate that. And I think the lunch has been set up at the moment, so we've now got about an hour or so for networking and lunch. So thank you very much.